All right, so today's topic is it's a hot one, the education system. So this has been definitely on the news and on a lot of people's radars, most recently, I would say. Yeah, it's pretty scary. I don't know how the US people are handling it because there's a lot of crazy control, or if you speak out, you lose your jobs, and I don't know, it's pretty fucked up. I used to teach, so I never thought that I would ever take my kids, if I did have kids, out of the program, but I think in the future, this is where I'm heading. Yeah, what do you like, green tea? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I recently saw a video of parents in the US. They were, I guess, getting into a fight with the school board about what's going on in the American education system right now. It seems like they're really pushing this transgender agenda, really pushing on this whole pride. You see pride flags everywhere. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Oh my God, it's everywhere. Like
it's everywhere.
it's not like I'm against gay
Yeah,
people. I respect gay people, but I hate this fucking agenda. I get triggered now
yeah,
by all like I'm getting before I'd be like, okay, like yes, like let's make sure that they have rights and like treat everyone equally
yeah,
and with
yeah.
respect. But now I'm like, I get triggered. I'm like, oh my God, you're freaking influencing our children. Like I can't.
I
I
don't think
can't.
most of us like really have a problem with gay people. And before being gay was just okay, you're gay, cool, let's move on, right? But now it's like in your face, like wherever you go, every company, their logo is like gay pride colors, like everywhere you go, it's like pride, everything. School, like the schools nowadays, I notice like teachers a teacher I know recently was showing on her Instagram that the school was having, I guess, a Pride Day.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like before it was just like, okay, you're gay, and then like, cool, let's move on. But I think the problem is right now they're really pushing it on the children, right? So that's where we
That's what,
have a problem.
yeah.
That's where we have
I
a
never I never had a problem with any, I would say, situation or program. It's until you start influencing the children, then I'm very I have a problem with that. Now I'm against anything like their propaganda, their fucking shirts. I'm like, don't wear it. I'm so against it now because it's it's all towards this type of, I don't know. I do not like the fact that we have trans people reading to ch- children. Like, why is that such an agenda? Like, what are the kids getting out of that lesson? Like, to me, it's like educate kids. Okay, on the basics, and then we move on. Why are we influencing and molding them to be more confusing the, I say, the younger population, and then basically kind of fucking up the entire world.
yeah.
That's what's happening.
Essentially, they're trying to brainwash the children, right? Because when you're young, you don't know what is the world until you reach an adult age, and then you can make these decisions if you're gay or if you're not. But if you're like 10 years old, what do you know about being gay or being trans? And then like also the push right now in the US is they're really pushing like these surgeries and puberty blockers for children.
Oh my God.
Like these doctors, like I don't know, obviously they don't have a soul, obviously, because apparently in the US they're like all these pop-up clinics, transgender surgery pop-up clinics are like popping up everywhere in every state. And they're like, okay, so if you have a child, for example, and maybe they're having some issues at home or they're depressed or whatever, and you bring them to see a doctor, these doctors are automatically like, okay, you're confused, okay, you're trans, let's put you on some puberty blockers instead of like, you know, having proper counseling or therapy for these kids that maybe they're just confused or maybe they don't know what's going on because of the people around them, right?
Yeah, I just feel like there's a bigger agenda.
Yeah, what do you think the agenda is?
Is basically to confuse and like really mess up our children because there's
Yeah.
other things that the world needs to do. This is what it's planned for, like mess up the young kids through these like propaganda, confuse them. The boys are, feminine. The woman is more masculine. They're like transgender. Like it's basically raising like very a lot of confusion. I don't know. I feel like there's a big agenda for the cause of all of this in
Yeah,
North America.
yeah,
Like you don't see this being that's happening in China. We're not fighting about pronouns. A man and a woman, they know what's going on. And if you're trans, you're trans. There's no, you don't need to put that in your signature or whatever. It's business as usual. But in North America, there's so much controversy about this. It's like the schools, like your work, the companies you work for. You can't really speak about really if
how
you
you
if you speak
feel.
up. If you speak up, you're homophobic. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
No, no one's homophobic. Like Canada, I would say is like very lib. I mean, not before it was very, I would say, open, but
yeah.
where we're heading, I don't know. It's pretty. I don't really have high hopes for this country. I think we're pretty much collapsing. It's like,
We are collapsing in
I'm
like
like, I
real
don't. I look.
time.
I see the prime minister. I'm like, you fucking moron. I'm like, what the fuck is like, your leadership sucks. Yo, man, get this guy out of like running the parliament. But people vote for him. But then you do you really believe the voting system is actually a fair practice? Like you think all of those votes are real votes? Is it rigged? I don't believe anything anymore. Well, I never really did, but it's just
Well, I used to think it was fair elections until I realized like they're not fair elections, they're rigged, and these
they're
politicians are put into power by, the globalist elites that train them and groom them to be in this position. And yeah, the people, the public, are just fooled into thinking that they have elections and that they get to decide who is in charge of their country, right?
Yeah, because that's how they run their operations. Put this fucking moron, make him do shit that, some of the public might not like, but we have an agenda. It's since the pandemic has shifted or has been in effect or whatever has occurred from 2020, our country is not the same country. I feel like it's not the same country anymore.
No, it's not. It's definitely
It's just like, are we in Canada? I just don't have a very hopeful future here. I don't want to be here anymore. Like every day, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? What's so great about this place?
not. That's how I feel every day too. Our prime minister cares more about pride parade, than Canadians being able to feed themselves and afford housing. He attends every pride parade because that's a top priority.
Priority. We're not, it's like I at the end of the day, we have to understand like we respect everyone for being individuals, but these agendas that's influencing and making kids that are impressionable,
Yeah,
that's when you gotta stop. Like you are literally damaging all these poor innocent kids. Like let them learn actual
math,
the,
science, history.
yeah, the curriculum, like technology, things that they can use and then, you know, but here you are forcing them to attend these a pride session, even if they can't even. What if I don't know. My brother sent me an article. You can't even opt out of these sessions.
What?
Like, what if you are like just uncomfortable?
They
As a kid, like, oh,
force you? They force everyone to go?
Yeah, I think that's what I saw. I'm not, I think that's what he sent me today.
Like your
And
brother
that's
in school?
no, no, no. He just sent me like an article, like they're getting backlash, like the school board's getting backlash because they're forcing kids to do these like whatever sessions and they can't opt out of it.
Oh my gosh.
It's like night like it's like they're going to die because they're going against this one thing.
Yeah.
What the like at that point, like as a parent, I would be like, no man, get my kid out of this curriculum. This is nonsense.
But
What are you teaching them? What are you teaching them? What is that?
the problem is like a lot of teachers are also brainwashed, right? They think that promoting, transgender pride is like being like inclusive, diversity and all that stuff. They don't realize they're pushing this on children and it's like having negative effects on the future generation. That's a problem. They think it's like, oh, we're trying to be inclusive, we're trying to be, accepting of everyone, and it's like it's having the opposite effect.
Yeah. Or they're gonna lose their jobs. So what
Yeah,
do you do?
yeah,
So like you basically say, okay, for instance, we're both teachers and we feel that this is not the right way. I don't agree with this, but if I say something, I'm gonna lose my job. So what do
yeah,
I do? Just continue with the curriculum.
yeah. You lose your job, you lose your pension. That's the thing that teachers are. That's what holds them to their job, right? Is working towards one day getting that pension. So they're kind of like trapped. It's either I shut my mouth and continue with this agenda, or
Pretty much.
I say something and I lose my job, lose my pension, lose everything that I've worked towards, and but that's the agenda, right? They put these people, the teachers, in these difficult positions where they have to choose, between basically between what's right and what's wrong, and it's a tough decision, right?
It's no, they're actually just they're coercing
Yeah,
teachers to do what they're telling them because they know if they speak up, they lose their like livelihood. So they are pretty much it's their agenda. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, you're doing it.
yeah,
So it's like at the masses, like you're just infiltrating the schools, getting into like the vulnerable kids, impress like the word is
what?
brainwashing all these kids,
Yeah,
and then when they grow up, they're like fucked.
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Like, society is going downhill when the young generation, they don't know the difference between what a man is and what a woman is. They think that you can just change your gender depending
By the
on
minute, by the
what you
minute.
feel like.
Like I feel like okay, like I okay. The thing is, it's I identify as okay, that there's like okay, there's certain population where people actually are trapped in the wrong body and like they
Yeah,
are transgender. Like I'm not talking about those specific people. I'm talking about people who just I identify as a werewolf. I identify as like that is mental illness. What do you mean? You just one day wake up you're like a fucking cat? So why don't you go to the zoo? So that's taking up a lot of people's time. So it's like literally just draining our society's energy into making all these rules and then creating a lot of chaos. Like now boys that identify as girls are using the bathroom and then whipping out their penises and then like the girls are screaming. I don't think that's what school is about.
no,
Girls should feel safe going to the bathroom because they need to go to the bathroom and they also menstruate and they bleed and they need to feel safe in those environments. And boys should also feel safe in their environments, but they're creating these environments at school where kids are getting basically sexual offenders are going into the bathrooms, pervs are going there to do what they want to do. It's like, why are you creating more unsafe environments for our children? So that's what's freaking so fucked up, I think.
Yeah. I also heard that in there's some universities where they are putting like menstrual products like tampons and pads in the boys' washroom.
Why now?
Like,
Why
what?
women were always bleeding for until for eternity, but we were never like, oh yeah, let's subsidize, like let's make sure that these girls have, the proper whatever sanitary things to take care of themselves. But now all of a sudden we're gonna supply the boys with this.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, what is really the agenda? Are
uh,
you really?
twisted.
It's
Twisted.
so dumb.
It's twisted. It's actually
So like,
quite evil.
it's evil because like this whole time these girls like all women we've been menstruating, and then we always had to pay and take care of ourselves, but now all of a sudden this movement, transgender, let's put fucking pads in the so they are inclusive. What the fucking actual fuck?
And the crazy thing is, like, they know this agenda, they know to start with the school system. Because if you can brainwash these children in the school system, like, you have them for life. They're confused for life. Like, if you leave university and you don't know what a woman is, you don't know what a man is, like, you're probably never going to figure it out.
Well, the kids already been slowly getting being
Brainwash?
brainwashed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have no faith in the Canadian education system, and
It's
it just seems like it's getting worse every day.
it's looking pretty. It's kind of scary. Like,
So,
I'm already thinking of homeschooling. I'm already like saving posts on how to homeschool kids
yeah,
when that time comes. I'm
yeah,
gonna be that homeschool teacher. Yeah. So I guess like that concludes this episode of our current state in Canada of the education system. Will join us on our next episode.